them. I made them for you. Adjective you use to describe my garden, okay? So today, in today's class, we're going to be announcing the winners of our kitchen garden transformation. Raise your hand if you voted. We had some we had dozens of kitchen garden transformations that were submitted that were so inspiring. And we're going to announce the winner of that contest. And then we're also going to announce the grand prize winner for you guys, for the voters. You get a kitchen garden from us, a raised bed, and a trellis. So pretty exciting. And we'll announce that at the end of today's class. All right. So now, without further ado, I am going to share my slides. And let me do this real fast. All right, I'm going to share my slides, and I have this cute little fun thing I can do now. Are y'all ready? Is everybody ready? Ready? All right, I'm going to get lots of participation here, so you guys get ready to participate, okay? I'm getting my iPad going. Here we go. All right, if you can see that, let me know in the chat. Looks a little blurry for some reason. Okay, there we go. Can you guys see it? All good? It's blurry. Is it still blurry? Better now? Okay, great. Awesome. So we are going to go through the slides together, and I'm going to teach you 3 mistakes to avoid when planting your garden, all right? So you can get that lush, plentiful, whatever it is that you use to describe my garden. I want that to be true for yours as well. All right, stay until the end. I'm going to tell you how to get access to my kitchen garden styles course. This is a super fun course that is going to inspire you with all kinds of beautiful kitchen gardens that I've created over the years. And these are a few of them that are in that course. So there's all shapes and sizes. So if you're looking for like, man, I wish I could like go into some of these gardens and get inspiration, this course is something you are going to love. And I'm going to tell you about it at the end of today's class. All right. So first of all, let me just clear the air in case you guys thought I was a pro, in case you thought, you know, I am like a master gardener. I have a degree in horticulture. I'm just going to dispel all the lies and all the rumors. I have no credentials. Okay. So you can put that inside the chat. She has no credentials. I'm just putting it out there to let you guys know. Okay. I don't have a degree in gardening or horticulture or landscaping. My degree is in math and accounting. Okay. And I did not start out as a gardener. I started out I still, you know, I worked in philanthropy actually for like 10 years. And this was our first garden. So do you guys see this garden on the screen? Are y'all impressed? Do you love it? I mean, do you want to learn how to garden from me? I don't think so if I had stuck there, right? So if you've made a few mistakes, raise your hand if you feel like you made a few mistakes in the garden. Just a few, maybe. I've made all of them, okay? So no shame here. It's not your fault. And I'm just here to tell you, I made them all too. I made probably way more than you have. And but I made them so you don't have to. So today I'm going to be teaching you the 3 big mistakes that I made. I'm going to be using my first garden, and then I'm going to show you how you don't have to make these mistakes. So pictured here is about 6 years in between. All right. I went from 2011 to 2017 here. And what do you guys see is the difference between these 2 gardens? Any like characteristics you might want to put out there, like, she must have learned to do something. Anything? Yeah. Raised beds for sure. Trellises were added, more structure. Love that. Very lush, much more organized, symmetry, paths. Yes, I love it. You guys are picking up on it right away. So a lot of things I learned over those 6 years, and I made all the mistakes, and I'm going to make sure that you don't have to make them. Okie dokie. All right, so let's start with mistake number 1. To do this, I want to ask you what you would build here. On your workbook, you can draw out what you would build in this space. So this is one of our Kitchen Garden Academy students' yards. You might have a large yard, a small yard, something in between, but you can pretend that you are just starting out what kind of vegetable garden, how would you set up this space? A lot of us, all of us start with a blank space, right? We start with something, well, maybe it's not blank for you. Maybe it's got lots of bushes and plants and maybe even trees in there. But we all start with nothing, and we have to decide how we're going to do the setup, right? And this is where that first mistake is made. The first mistake in the kitchen garden is actually made before you start the garden, okay? The first mistake is made in the building phase. Can you guys guess what I think is the biggest mistake that we make in building our kitchen gardens? What do you think is my number one mistake that I made and that I see most people make? All right, bad soil, wrong spot, sun, irrigation, orientation, too big, not checking the sun, filling with bad dirt, location, not in the best sunny location. I love it. Bad wood, can't walk around it. Exactly. Well, let me tell you something. You're all right. You are all correct. And that's because the biggest mistake we make when building our garden is we rush. We rush. Anybody? Raise your hand. Anybody rushed to set up their first garden? Oh yeah, that's me. Oops. That's me. I was at Home Depot the other week. You may have seen my video that's gotten a little bit of attention. And one of the reasons I made that video is because I saw people rushing. It was a sunny day. It was a spring day, and everyone had run to Home Depot to rush and set up their garden. And I just wanted to look at everybody and be like, calm down, slow down. You're going to waste your time, your money. You're going to get frustrated if you rush this process. So one of the things that, my dad used to always tell me when I would go shopping, I like to buy a lot of clothes. I was like a clothes girl, if I'm not too surprised about that. But I love cheap clothes. I love to buy really cheap clothes because I wanted a lot of them. Anybody like that? No, my sister, she bought nice clothes. She'd only buy a few outfits, and those things would last her for like years. And my dad taught me, an expression, the cheap pay twice. Okay. And I started to learn this reality, like I'd buy a cheap shirt and one wear and it would have a hole in it. Right. Or like I would put it through the wash and it would shrink to be this big. And so it was like, I rushed to buy this thing. I got it on the cheap, but I only got to enjoy it for a very short period of time, or I kind of paid for that again and again, right? The cheap pay twice. I had to go buy 2 shirts because, I paid too little attention to getting it in the first place. So I like to say in the garden, the rushed pay for years. All right. When you rush something in the beginning, you get to do it fast. You get the satisfaction of doing it quickly, but you pay for that for months and years and many, many seasons to come. Because every time you walk back out there to that rushed garden that you set up, you don't like it. It's not easy to take care of, right? It's failing. The soil is not good. The location was not right. The way you set it up is not convenient. And so you rush, right? You get the satisfaction of being done quickly, but then you pay for it for a long period of time, right? So don't rush the setup. And here's some of the reasons. Rushing forgets your priorities. So when we feel rushed, when we feel like we have to get out there and get our garden in really, really fast, we forget why we're gardening in the first place, right? And so when we rush, we neglect the things that when we were, back in the winter, what we were dreaming about, we suddenly feel rushed, like we have to just get it done fast. And we forget about all those dreams and just kind of throw something together. And then, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, we wonder, why do I not want to go out there in the garden and do anything? It's like, because it's not set up for my priorities. Another thing that rushing does is it neglects your plan, right? So if you had a plan, let's say maybe you don't have one yet, but rushing rarely has a plan. Rushing is just kind of putting things together, grabbing whatever you can find and making it work as quickly as possible. This garden you see here, all the gardens you're going to see here are either mine that my company has installed, my own, or students from Kitchen Garden Academy. This is one of my first clients, and you can see this is very planned, right? Everything looks very orderly and full, and this is the opposite of rushing. Rushing also surprisingly forgets your budget. So like my cheap clothes that I buy, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but you can end up, when you rush, you end up spending money on things that you didn't even like necessarily, they weren't a priority. So you're like, ooh, like this wood is, I just saw this Pinterest post, right? Where you're like, oh, I just saw this Pinterest about building a bed with a fence post, right? Or something like that. And so you run out and you get the fence post, you do the fence post garden. And then as soon as you do the fence post garden, you've spent money, right? You had to, now it's not a lot of money, but you spent money on it. And then you have to like, if it's not right or whatever, like if you decide, oh, actually I wanted a nicer garden or a nicer bed, well, it's too late, right? Because you've already spent part of your money on that bed, that first bed that you tried. And so it's like, oh man, like I tried, to save money, but you end up needing more money in the end. So rushing forgets our plan, our priorities, and our budget. This is what my rush garden looked like. Okay. So this was July. I came home from visiting my parents. And I told my husband, like, I really want to set up a garden this summer. And so I'm telling you, we did this on like a whim. We did it in one day. We tilled up the ground. We planted a bunch of stuff. And let me tell you, we paid for this for the whole year and the next year. I don't know if you can tell, but this garden is on a slope. So every single time it rained or we had a big storm in Nashville, everything just washed down the hill. Okay. Like literally seedlings would come up and then they would just wash down the hill. Then we planted, other things that would just fall over in a rainstorm because they didn't have the support that they need. And then I don't know if you can tell, but there is a lot of straw in this garden, right? It was just so much straw and so few plants. So this is what a traditional rush garden setup looks like. And this is what a gardenary setup garden looks like. So this was taking my plan, my system, and applying it. And you're not going to believe this, but this here is actually even a smaller space. Okay. Is that crazy? So this one is a larger footprint than what I was gardening on right here. So much more production, so much more fun, but in a much smaller footprint, not a much smaller, but a smaller footprint. All right, so here are a couple of our Kitchen Garden Academy students. These are some that entered the giveaway. So Kitchen Garden Academy helped give me the tools for understanding how to create a garden from the ground up that is practical, productive, and pretty. So do you guys see Monique here started with a blank space? She took her time. She did not rush, and she has got it all set up here. Then we've got Leona. I love this. She said 90% of the work is in the preparation. I live in Michigan, and so my plants are just beginning to pop out of the rich 103% soil. That's our soil blend. This program will save you time because you did it the right way from the start. So that is our goal, that you do it the right way from the start so you don't have to undo anything. All right. So this is what we're going for. So put in the chat, don't rush the setup. Don't rush the setup. Everybody put that in the chat, write it down. You don't want to rush the setup. The 3 reasons are you ruin your budget, you ruin your plan, and you ruin your priorities. You rush those things and then you forget your priorities, you forget your plan, and you forget your budget. All right, don't rush the setup. We got it. Here is Lori's space. Look at this. She built this entire enclosure for her kitchen garden inside the Kitchen Garden Academy. She said, learning Kitchen Garden Academy techniques makes gardening easier, more fun, and more successful with all the material in one easy to access place. So the goal here is that you don't have to go searching, right? I'm going to teach you every single step to do the setup. You don't have to run to Home Depot and look for what's on sale, right? You just find out the plan and then follow the plan, just like Lori did. This is Sarah's. She said, forget searching the web for hours. Kitchen Garden Academy puts all the answers at your fingertips. And that's what we're looking for. It'll hold up to the elements for years to come. So our goal here is that your garden holds up to the elements, that it lasts, and it will last when you don't rush. Okay. So don't rush the setup. What are we going to do instead? We're going to do the worst first. So I call it the worst first because you're going to do the hard part at the beginning. Maybe not the worst, but you're going to do the part that is the hardest. And that is building it right the first time, putting it in the right location. All those pieces and parts that you kind of have rushed before, you're going to do that right the first time, do the worst part first, and then you don't have to pay twice, 3 times, 4 times for it. All right, mistake number 2 is about the planting. Now, if you've been in my world for a while, you probably know what I'm going to say here, but what do you guys think is the biggest mistake I see people make when planting their kitchen garden? When people are planting their kitchen garden, what do you think is the thing I think is the worst mistake? Put it in the chat. Kelly says the timing is off, the wrong season. Okay, interesting, wrong season. Too shallow, underplanting. They don't plant enough, considering the sun, overwatering, too much, buying expensive, not starting by seed, planting too soon, too many plants, too much, not intensive. That's right. So a few of you guys have been around here with me for a while, and you know that I'm going to say that you should plant. Well, let me ask you this first. How many plants would you put in this garden? This is the garden we're giving away today. This is our gardenary 4x4 bed with an obelisk trellis, right? And how many plants would you think you would put in this bed? This is 16 square feet. So give your guess, how many plants would you plant in a 16 square foot garden? All right. I see 250, 16, 8, 40, 20, depends on the plants, lots of little ones, 160, 250, 1 million. One of you guys has been around here for a little bit. All right. So my mistake that I see the most often is you plant too little. Don't plant too little. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Don't plant too little. You see this garden that we first did? It's way too little plants, right? Way too much soil space. You guys were asking why all the straw. Well, all that straw is there because we had all this open soil and it was drying out. So we put straw. So we put straw on there to try to protect the soil because there weren't any plants there, right? So when you plant too little, it's so boring. Okay. I'm going to show you in a second the garden where I planted way too little, and it just takes so long to get a harvest. It's just, 1 or 2 kinds of plants. It's not very interesting. And let me tell you the one for sure way to fail in the garden. Do you want me to tell you the for sure way? There's only one for sure way to fail in the garden. And that is to do what? What do you think? It's to quit, right? The only way that you're going to fail in the garden is if you quit. And why would you quit? Because it's boring. How many people here avoid boring stuff? Stuff that is like a snore, right? I avoid boring stuff like the plague. And so if your garden feels boring, you're going to quit doing it because it's not fun, right? Planting too little is also not very productive. If you only plant a few plants, then you're only going to get a few harvests. It's just the law of economics, right? Input equals output. So if you only plant a little bit, you're only going to get a little bit of harvest, and that's no fun, right? And then planting too little, believe it or not, is actually harder on your plants. I'm going to tell you something that's so cool. From when I first started my garden, before I started my garden business, the summer before, I went with my family to Big Bend State Park. Big Bend State Park. We went there to celebrate my husband's 40th birthday. Anybody been to a state park? Actually, it's a national park. I take that back, not a state park. Anybody been to national parks recently? All right. So in Big Bend, they have an extreme desert. And I was just getting into gardening. I've been gardening for a few years. And I noticed in this extreme desert, there was still a lot of plants, right? There were still a lot of plants. But here's the thing about the plants. You want to know what it was? The plants were never alone. Never, ever, ever alone. The plants were never by themselves. They were always in groups. Even in extreme conditions, These plants were thriving. And how were they thriving? Because they were with their friends. They were in a pack. They weren't all by themselves. So if your plants are struggling in your garden, I want to suggest to you it could be because you're planting too little. You're making your plants work too hard to grow. And when plants have to work too hard to grow, it's not fun, right? It's not fun for us, and it's definitely not fun for the plants. So planting little plants, too little plants, isn't just hard on you as a gardener, it's hard on your plants. That stinks. So let me show you what I did when I planted my first 4x4 bed. This is a 4x4 bed. If any of you guys said 5 plants for a 4x4 bed, you chose what I chose way back in 2011. This is basically 5 tomato plants. All right. Does this look boring? Anybody think this looks boring? I can take the insult. It's okay. Raise your hand if you think this looks boring. It looks boring. Yes. Does this look unproductive? Like there's not a lot to do or harvest? Yes, it does, right? And does this look like it's hard on my plants? Do my plants look like they're thriving? Anybody think my plants are thriving here? No, I don't think they look like they're thriving. Okay, so this is traditional gardening. This is not planting enough plants. And this is gardenary gardening. Okay. What do y'all think about this? Do these plants look like they're struggling? Do they look like it's really hard for them to grow right now? No. Does it look boring? Does anything in here look boring? Absolutely not. And does this look unproductive? Absolutely not. I need to get in there right now and harvest. I've been trying to meet up with my neighbor and be like, hey, can we go pick this stuff? Because it is ripe for the harvest, right? So in this bed, one of you was right. I have over 200 plants planted, over 200 plants. And inside this garden aren't just plants for this season. There are new plants planted for the next season too, all in this 4x4 bed. Is that so much more fun? Raise your hand if you think that sounds like more fun. Yes, this is not fun. This is fun. Yes? Following me? Okay, awesome. All right, so here are some of our Kitchen Garden Academy students who are also having more fun. This is Tiffany. She said, I went from not knowing anything about gardening to building and growing my first garden. I grew plants on the first try, and I was so proud of my accomplishment. She did it on the first try, you guys. Not boring, right? Now look at this. This is so cool. Alice built this covered garden inside Kitchen Garden Academy. She said, I learned the simple steps of creating a plentiful kitchen garden. And it also allowed me to inspire many friends and neighbors to do the same. Do y'all see all the plants in her bed? Does that look boring? Does that look unproductive? Does that look hard on those plants? No, they're so happy. All right, so we are not going to plant too little, right? Everybody agree? I will no longer plant too little. Here is from Glenda. She said, I totally love having fresh greens to harvest every day. Her 103 soil mix, that's me, has really made a difference in my ability to grow everything I've planted. From buying seeds to harvesting, I've had the support needed. All right, so ordinary gardening to the left, gardenary gardening to the right. Who goes for the gardenary gardening? Does it sound better? Who is never going to plant too little again? Yes, so instead of not planting too little, I want you to remember my MPP, okay? More plants, please. Every day, every way, every time you're in the garden, you're just going to say MPP, more plants, please, okay? You're just going to plant, plant, plant. That's the answer to so many of our problems. All right, we're into mistake number 3 now. This is about harvesting. So guess for me what you think is the biggest mistake I see as people take care of their gardens, all right? When people are taking care of their gardens, what is the biggest mistake people make? Tell me, what do they do? Not harvesting enough, not harvesting every day. I'm at a loss. I don't know. Wait too long to harvest all at once? What about taking care of the plants when there's stress? Any ideas? They empty the bed. Oh, not harvesting enough. Okay, so how are you going to solve these problems? See me and my husband and my daughter here. We're having a couple of problems here, right? So one, our garden's drying out too fast. 2, we have pests, okay? And 3, our plants are not thriving. So how would you solve those problems? You can write that down in your workbook. We have a little square for you to fill out. How do I deal with these problems? I've got bugs in my garden, my soil is drying out too fast, and my plants are not thriving. I'm going away when it's harvest time. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's talk about solving these problems. The mistake that people made, here we are, you ready? They underestimate nature. Write that down. They underestimate nature. Don't underestimate nature, okay? Nature has it, like nature's got this, you know what I'm saying? So don't underestimate nature. When I'm in a garden like this, I am underestimating nature, right? I'm thinking it's all on me. The water, the plant's not thriving, the bugs, it's all on me. I'm not estimating nature for its true power. So let me explain to you what I mean. Assuming that the garden just needs more water. Raise your hand if your answer is always more water. A little bit? I have so many people who are like, this isn't working well. Should I water it? I'm like, you could water it, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to solve your problem, right? So I want you to never again assume that you need more water. That's not always going to be your answer, okay? You don't always need more water. In fact, most of the time, you don't need more water. That is not the problem. The problem is the way the garden is set up. And the problem is the way that the plants are growing in, but not always water. Also, don't assume you need fertilizer. Anybody hear that? Every single time I share one of my gardens and how full they are, they almost always ask, what kind of fertilizer do you use? And I'm going to give you a hint. None. Okay? Very, very little. If I use anything, it's just a little bit of foliar spray, maybe once a month. Okay? But it's always a natural thing and very little because the plants work together. Okay? Nature works. And then don't assume that you need bug spray. The minute that you see pests, the minute that you see challenges with your plants, don't jump for the spray, okay? We want to stop defaulting to the things that we bring to the garden, and we want to start thinking about nature. So this is what ordinary gardening looks like. Have y'all seen this? All right, so let's notice a couple of things, right? Number one, she's standing on the soil. That's not a good idea, right? Number two, these plants are all really far apart from each other. Yes, not a good idea. Number three, these plants are all the same. They're all planted in rows and they're all the same kind of plants. Got it? And so what is she doing? Or he, let's call it a he, not a she, okay? Yeah, so what's he doing? He's spraying fertilizer, herbicides, fungicides, pesticides, and probably water, right? So the assumption is we have to do all these things, and that's because of this setup, right? So are you ready for what gardening looks like? What do y'all think? Are you ready? Tell me you're ready. You want to see it? It's a little bit more fun, okay? This is gardening. What do y'all think? Does that look like a better time? I don't know about y'all, but I would just rather be doing this than doing this. Y'all agree or no? Yeah, I think so. I want to be climbing up in my garden and pruning the vines. I want to be harvesting. I want to be playing in the mix of all these different plants, right? I don't want to be doing this. This looks like not fun, right? I just want to do this. So if you want to do this, raise your hand. This is what you can do if you stop underestimating nature, all right? Don't underestimate nature. Nature has got this. All we have to do is set it up right. So I got to show you Sarah's garden. Well, y'all take a look at Sarah. She's one of our Kitchen Garden Academy students. She said, once the joy of my life, my raised bed traditional gardens have become a nightmare. She literally wrote this. They had become a nightmare and I was ready to give up gardening for good. So she explained that she had actually hired a team to come and to rip out her whole garden and plant grass. That's how frustrated she was. Anybody been that way? You've been that frustrated? You're like, just rip it out and let's go back to grass, right? So she's like, I was going to give up my garden for good. She said, then I came across KGA, Kitchen Garden Academy. The training breathed life into my dying dream. And I once again had hope that I could have a garden system that would not require all my time. Now I have a gorgeous oasis that fills me with joy once again. I am not exaggerating when I say that Kitchen Garden Academy gave me my life back. Is this transformation crazy? I mean, look at the difference. So to the left, we have not fun, right? We have the plants are not enough plants, right? We have a rushed setup and we have underestimating the power of nature. Then on the right side, after Kitchen Garden Academy, you can see a really nice planned, prioritized setup. You can see lots and lots of plants, which is totally the goal. And you can see that she trusts nature. She knows that nature can make this happen, right? This is Andrea. She said our installation, you'll look at these dates, was installed 4/27/2022. By May 1st, the beds were planted. By May 24th, we harvested cherry tomatoes. By June 17th, we were harvesting black-eyed peas. This year, we're already harvesting cucumbers and green beans in April. What we learned about soil, timing, planting, and maintaining from Nicole have made the difference. I mean, that's crazy timing, right? So instead of underestimating nature, this is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to work with nature. Put that in the chat. Work with nature. This is my picture for you guys, right? In your garden, the main job you're doing is just having fun. You're just having fun right alongside with nature. And what happens is the main thing you're doing is harvesting. All right. So go from mistakes to main thing. That's what we're doing. Going from mistakes to main thing. All right. So we've talked about the 3 mistakes. Here is why I don't want you to make these mistakes. I don't want anybody to make these mistakes anymore in the garden. Number 1, because you lose money, right? When we rush the setup and build our garden, you actually lose money. When you don't plant enough plants, you lose time. Every single time you go through a season without planting enough plants, you missed it. You can't get it back. It stinks. So I don't want you to miss the summer with too few plants in your garden. All right. And then finally, when the garden feels stressful, when it feels like you need bug spray, you need more water, you need fertilizer, you also lose your motivation. And that's actually the worst thing of all. So this is Deborah. Look at this garden she planted. Y'all see all these plants in here? The placement, quality of plants, and the soil proved the decades of mistakes that I have made. I wasted time and money on unproductive plants. In less than 6 weeks, I am harvesting food. I mean, what? Did she just take the words out of my mouth or what? All right, so here's what I want gardening to look like for you. So you're going to, instead of wasting money on the rush setup, you're going to invest money. You're going to put most of your money in your setup, okay? Then you're going to invest time. You're not going to rush it. You're going to put some time into learning how to set up, how to plant more plants. And that's going to end up with more motivation. And the whole thing that makes this gardening thing work is your energy. So you can put that in the chat. My energy, protect my energy. We need your energy to go to the right things. When you lose energy, just like plants, right? When plants don't have sunshine, they stop growing, right? And when you don't have energy for gardening, you stop gardening. It's the same thing. This is Ellen. She says, the planting worked out so well that I was able to harvest and replant all year long, and keeping the garden full. Look at this. Keeping the garden full meant I had no room for weeds. In this small 6x6 garden at the base of my deck, I produced so many wonderful vegetables and herbs. I was even surprised with my winter crop. All right, so she literally took the words out of my mouth. Instead of dealing with weeds and, frustration, she's harvesting. That's the goal. That's where we want to get to. So here's what I want gardening to look like for you. This is what it looks like for me out here. This is what I want it to look like for you. So setup, planting, and tending all happen on this side, right? Taking your time, investing your time and your money in good setup, good planting. And then all that's left for you to do is to prune and harvest. So put that, you can put P&H, prune and harvest. That's your job. Prune and harvest. Prune and harvest. That's all you're going to be doing once it's set up. I mean, are y'all feeling like this right now? I just wondered if you're feeling a little bit like, wow, kale, yeah, this is crazy. This is my daughter, my youngest daughter, back when she was a preschooler. And we first started to really bring in the harvest. And we were shocked. And so I said, can you make a shocked face for me? And she did this. So if you're feeling like, okay, I love this idea, but like, how do you do it, right? Like, how do you do the setup the right way? How do you plant so many plants? Can you tell me all the plants that you put in that bed, please, right? Or if you're saying like, okay, I want to work with nature, but how? Like, how do I not worry about water and fertilizer and bug spray, right? Well, I can only cover so much in this class, but that's why I've created a full system to show you the step-by-step to build, to plant, and to harvest from your kitchen garden without all those mistakes. This is so encouraging to me. This is Grace. She's from Hawaii. She said, I lived in Hawaii all my life, and sadly, more than 80% of our produce is imported to the islands. So I was tired of buying salad for $8, herbs for $5, peppers, eggplant, you name it, for $4 a pound. So I signed up, chose the design, and followed her simple and easy instructions. And I never looked back. Even with limited resources here in Hawaii, I was able to create a successful kitchen garden on my own. Is that beautiful? I just found her on Instagram, and oh my goodness, it's so gorgeous what she's created. So you've been seeing the testimonies and the pictures from Kitchen Garden Academy students. And I'm so excited to tell you today, we are opening the doors to our brand new course, Kitchen Garden Academy 2.0. So all the pictures and things you've seen so far, these were from students who watched and learned through my Kitchen Garden Academy student system that I filmed way back in 2019. Well, a lot has changed since then. I've added some new things that I think are very essential to the garden. And I also got a lot better videographer. So I have a full-time videographer that now works with me. And over the last 5 months, we've been working on the 2.0 course that covers and teaches you step-by-step how to build your beds, how to build and set up your kitchen garden, how to plant it the way I do intensively, and then how to take care and harvest from your garden so that you don't have to do bug spray and fertilizer and lots of water. And the doors to the Kitchen Garden Academy are open right now, today. So it is set up as 3 steps. First, you build, then you plant, and then you harvest. And if you're thinking you're too late in the year, you are not. There is so much time to set up your garden. The one you see behind me, I set up at the end of July last year. All right. So you've got a long time to get ready. And inside the course, we teach you how to do this in just 6 weeks. So the goal is to go from ordinary, the way I started, avoid all those mistakes, and then go to the gardenary way instead. So Kitchen Garden Academy includes so many bonuses I want to tell you about. But first, just know that you get lifetime access to Kitchen Garden Academy 2.0. So this is the entire video course. It's over 85 videos from the garden, lots of different gardens where I show you the step-by-step to build, plant, and harvest from your kitchen garden. So you get lifetime access to that course, but you also get 6 support calls. So you're going to get, over the next 6 weeks, a weekly call where you get to ask your questions and get answers live from gardenary consultants. Then on top of that, you also get an ebook and downloads to help you and guide you through each and every one of the videos and the classes. Then I'm putting in some bonus courses that have not been part of Kitchen Garden Academy before. You know I like to pack in the plants, so you're going to get my intensive planting course as a bonus. This will not be offered again, but for this launch of Kitchen Garden Academy 2.0, the intensive planting course comes along with your Kitchen Garden Academy 2.0 membership, and it's going to teach you exactly how to do the more plants, please method. Then you asked about lots of things about pests, right? So we're also putting in the organic pest control course. This is all about how to deal with pests and disease in your garden in the work with nature way. So not worrying about the pests and the lack of production, and instead staying on the offense. That's my mentality. And you'll learn that inside this bonus course. And today, if you join while we're here over the next few minutes, you're also going to get the Kitchen Garden Styles course that I shared about at the beginning. So this is a course that brings you through 45 of the kitchen gardens I've created to inspire you and give you ideas for the kitchen garden that you want to create. So you get all of this value. First, Kitchen Garden Academy alone is going to do it for you, but we wanted to make sure that you have lifelong learning. You have all these courses and videos you can watch anytime you have a problem, anytime you want to take it to the next level. All of these are there to support you and are offered just right now for the opening of Kitchen Garden Academy 2.0. This is over $900 worth of courses, but that is not the price. In fact, you can join today and get started for as little as $119. This is a payment plan that you can use to get started in the least expensive way, or you can pay in full with just one payment, not for $900, but for $297. And if you choose that pay in full bonus, we're going to send you my book, Kitchen Garden Revival, to inspire you and also to be this beautiful coffee table book you can sit and look at and read as you're going about setting up your own kitchen garden. So this book is available for everyone who pays in full. We'll mail this to you as a bonus when you decide to pay in full and join Kitchen Garden Academy today. So here are the two payment options. You can just do a payment plan. It's just 3 easy installments. They happen 1 month after the other of $119, or you can do just one payment of $297. You'll save a bunch of money. Plus, you'll also get my book, Kitchen Garden Revival. So the way to sign up is at kitchengardenacademy.com. Liz, my teammate, is going to put the link to sign up in the chat that you can use to sign up right away. And if you sign up while we're live and answering questions, then you're going to get that bonus, the Kitchen Garden Styles course, which I know you're going to love. In fact, I recommend you watch that first because it's going to give you the plan for your setup. You're going to be like so inspired and know exactly what you want to do. So the winner of our contest, our huge giveaway, is actually Kathleen Puchot. She's in Louisiana. And she's the winner. This is her garden right here. Isn't it amazing? So she said, KGA is an incredible tool to equip you in a fun, engaging, helpful way to grow and practical knowledge in your garden. Having all these resources that are such a pleasure to follow at your fingertips is a total game changer. Then we have this one from, this is another client. I think we have the wrong name, but she said, the amount of information in this program is priceless. I was able to learn each step in a very understandable way and not have to go to multiple sources. And look at this. Look how many plants Adri fit into this kitchen garden. She said, I really benefited from the step-by-step video modules and gained a lot of confidence by following those guidelines. So you can start today for just $119. It's a 3-payment plan, or you can do the 1 payment option for $297. and get my book, Kitchen Garden Revival, for free. So we throw that in. You also save a lot on the course. So tell me in the chat if you have signed up. I would love to welcome you to Kitchen Garden Academy. And I am going to answer your questions for the next few minutes. While you can think about, you can go to Kitchen Garden Academy. You can see the testimonies there. You can see all that's included. This is over 85 videos that are going to teach you the step-by-step to avoid the 3 mistakes we talked about today, so that you know for sure how to build your garden, how to plant your garden, and how to harvest from your garden every single season. So all the gardens you saw in today's presentation, my garden here, those are inside the course, and I teach you from those gardens exactly how to set up your garden, to plant it, and to harvest from it in a no stress, more fun way. So remember, we talked at the beginning about the importance of slowing down the setup and not rushing the process. This is your chance to do that, to do it right the first time, to invest in yourself, to invest in your garden. Listen, you can spend $297 at the nursery like that. In fact, my teammate right now is at the nursery and she already spent $297 on a garden we're about to go plant this afternoon. And so you can spend $300, $500, thousands of dollars on your garden and not do it right? You can miss the mark, you can miss the season. And so this is really preventive measures here. This is that stitch in time that saves 9. And it's to keep you from paying twice or thrice or 4 times. It took me about 4 kitchen garden setups before I got it right. And so my goal is to give you all the step-by-step so that you get way more than $297 out of this course. You literally get years and years and years of harvest from the course, from the garden that you create from that course. So let me answer a few of your questions while we're here. The first is, what will this work in if I'm in a different climate than you? So I am in Nashville. I'm in right in the middle, I would say. So we have 4 seasons. We do have a true winter, but we also have a pretty hot summer. But if you're new to me or if you've never learned from me before, I've lived in a lot of different climates. So I started gardening first here in Nashville. Then we lived in Houston, which is hot most of the year. Then we lived in Chicago, which is winter most of the year, right? And then now we live in Nashville, which is like a mix. We have winter and summer. So this course is taught from the perspective that you can learn to do this exactly where you live. In fact, there's an entire module where I help you understand your unique climate and be able to understand which plants grow each and every month for you in your climate. So it's very climate specific, but not locked into a climate. The goal is it sends you exactly how to do it, how to figure out your exact climate and then follow along. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Swapna. I'm so excited that you're joining us. Mary, welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy. Meredith says 100% worth it. Brandy says just signed up. Yay, I'm so excited to have you. Let's see. Somebody said, what did you put in the 4x4 bed? All right, at the end, I'll tell you what I put in there. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Megan and Kelly. So excited you're here. Alana, thank you so much for joining. All right, a lot of questions are about spaces. Is this going to work in my space? Welcome to the Kitchen Garden Academy, Denise. This will work in any space. So we have videos of that 4x4 installation. We also did a video of a border garden installation. We have lots of videos of, spaces where you're on a patio, you're on a porch, or you're in a backyard. So the goal is use the principles, and then you're going to be able to fit a lot more into your space than you think is possible. So that is absolutely the goal. And we are going to help you learn to maximize your space. I like to say in the garden, our goal with Kitchen Garden Academy is to garden like we live in the city. Because raise your hand if you live in the city. Anybody here? For a lot of us, we are in smaller spaces, right? And so that's what Kitchen Garden Academy was designed to do, is, to make the most of the space you have. That's why we use raised beds and trellises. And that's why I teach you to plant more plants, please, right? When you plant more plants, you're going to get so much more out of a small space. You saw that 4x4 bed, right? So that 4x4 bed allows you to have so many more plants in one space. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Brittany and Christopher and Jessica and Robin. Okay, another question was, I live in too cold of a climate. That's interesting. So too cold of a climate. So I think a lot of people think this, and one of the very cool things we're going to teach you inside Kitchen Garden Academy, and believe me, I lived in Chicago. Now you may be colder than me, but I'm just going to give you some encouragement, okay? In Chicago, you ready? I planted my first seeds in February, okay? And I harvested all the way until December. So if you are in Wisconsin, if you're in Minnesota, if you're in Canada, if you're in a very, very cold place, you're going to get to make the most of it. You're going to be harvesting from your garden all the way till December, okay? And then you can push it even further. And then if you're in, I see Arizona. What about Arizona? So if you're in a warm climate, this is going to work for you too, because I'm going to give you the hot season plan, all right? Most people limit you right at the warm season, and I'm going to teach you what to do in the hot season. This is a season that not everybody gets, right? The hot season is going to be teaching you what to grow when it is over 90, 95, 100 degrees. So if you're in a really hot place, or if you're in a really cold place, there is going to be a system for you to use inside Kitchen Garden Academy for all the climates. And then also in the middle too. So Mario says, where do I sign up? At kitchengardenacademy.com, or just click that link right there in the chat. All right, welcome, Katia. I hope I said it right. Katya, hopefully that's right. Welcome, Sarah and Rosa. So excited to have you guys. All right, another question is, I have not had any success yet. So I've had no experience and no success yet. Is this going to work for me? So the idea is to take you in this course from having no experience, from not gardening before, to having harvest in 6 weeks. Literally. So if you set up that garden the way we teach you, you follow the system. The goal is we're going to teach you the step-by-step and to start with the plants that you're going to have the most success with. So it's okay if you've never had success. I did all the mistakes for you. So take that. I would say if you're at that point, you're at a perfect point to join, because this is your moment to start right? You don't have to deal with all the frustrations that I had to deal with. So many of us have to deal with. You can just jump to the good stuff. So if you're just getting started, I would say there's no better investment you could make than to just start with the good stuff. This is a proven system. You've seen all the students' pictures, right? So you know this works. So I would do that. I would start right here. And then other people say, well, I already have my garden set up. My garden actually is already even planted for the summer. Well, here's the thing you're going to learn in Kitchen Garden Academy. We never stop planting. Okay. Like I'm going to go right now. I'm going to go plant a garden tomorrow that's already been planted since February. And so in Kitchen Garden Academy, you're going to learn seasonal planting. You're going to learn how to plant again and again and again, not just one time. So if you already have your garden set up, if you already planted, that, you can still use this program to maximize what you get. Hold on, I dropped my paper. All right, another question is, what about budgeting? You talked about cheap pay twice, right? So the question is, what do I do if I have a smaller budget for my garden this year? Well, Kitchen Garden Academy is going to help you work with your budget. The goal is for you, and this is what I tell everybody, get the best you can afford right now. And so that's what I've always tried to do. You don't have to buy something that's way out of your price range. I want you to just make a budget. Remember, we talked about how rushing makes you forget your budget, right? Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Heather and Liz. If you have a small budget, you're going to just get the nicest thing you can afford. There is an entire module inside Kitchen Garden Academy where I walk you through the hardware store. Okay. I walk you through Lowe's, I think, and I show you exactly what I would buy to do my garden on a budget. I show you all the things and give you the warnings. Like if you do it this way, I want you to buy this. So there is a whole module where all I'm going to do is walk you through a hardware store and show you buy these things, don't buy these things. Okay. So that's going to be perfect for your budget. And then you have the planting for a 4x4 bed. So that 4x4 bed is absolutely going to be packed, right? And you can do a 4x4 bed. We have all the details to do it for under $100. So if you do have a smaller budget to start out, I just want you to do this. Okay. Buy the best you can afford and don't waste your money, okay? The cheap pay twice. So you can have a small budget, but you don't have to be cheap. You know what I'm saying? So use that small budget, baby, and make the most of it, stretch it, pick the highest quality choices you can make, and you'll be well on your way. Sandra, welcome. Welcome, El Troy. So excited to welcome you guys to Kitchen Garden Academy. Welcome, Megan. So excited. And Patty says, I already have KGA and I love it so much. You're going to be so happy you signed up. Welcome, Alana, to Kitchen Garden Academy. So excited. Kelly says, so worth the investment and it gets better over time. Oh, that's so awesome, Kelly. I love you for that. I grew a cool season garden for the first time this year. Jacqueline, welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy. Welcome to the Kitchen Garden Academy, Alicia and Jennifer. All right, we have a few more minutes. I'm going to try to get the answer. And then at the end, I'm going to show you, I'll give you a little sneak peek of what I planted in that 4x4 bed. Okay. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Roxanne. You do learn how to plant from seed. Welcome, Jennifer, to Kitchen Garden Academy. All right. I don't have a lot of time. That's a question I get a lot about Kitchen Garden Academy. So you have lifetime access to these videos. You can watch them whenever you want to. You can come back and rewatch them. Here's the thing that I like to do. You can listen to them while you're working, okay? While you're working out, while you're driving, just listen to the videos, and you can go back and watch the ones that are most important to you. So you have lifetime access. You can watch when you want, and the whole kitchen garden. Okay, listen to me. Are you ready? I have 4 kids, okay? I have 4 kids, and I have a business, right? So if there's anybody who can understand not having a lot of time, it's me, okay? And that's the whole design of Kitchen Garden Academy is you do the worst first, and then you don't have to keep feeling like it's work. You just go out there to grab dinner, all right? So my goal for you is let's get your garden set up the right way the first time. And then I'm just going to say, like, just go out and get some dinner. That's how you're going to spend your time. You do have to put in, I would say, I'm going to need like a weekend from you. Okay. So I need like a weekend from you to get the garden set up. But once it's set up, you're good to go. All right. We have just a few more minutes. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Maria Jose. Welcome, Rosalind. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome, Patty. So exciting. Okay. Last question is, how long until we get a harvest? So when you plant the gardenary way, this very intensive way, the goal is for you to start harvesting within 30 to 45 days. 30 to 45 days. So once you join Kitchen Garden Academy, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to be guiding you to first design and build, then to plant, and then finally to harvest from your kitchen garden. Oh no, my timer, why did it do that? I think we have 1 minute left. I'm going to switch now and show you. Oh, I'm going to show you this. Liz warned me about this. She said, this timer, why did it do that? I'll give you 1 more minute while I show you this. I'm going to show you the garden and tell you what's in here. Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second. I'll go to the slide. All right, 1 more minute while you guys can sign up. What was I saying? Oh, I was talking about harvesting. So the goal is once the harvests start, they really don't stop. I really want you to be getting loads of harvest, probably within 45 days. The goal is that you head out to your garden almost every day to cut something. It may not be, like loads and loads of tomatoes. The fruit is going to come later, but the leaves should come very, very early. All right, let me get to this garden. I'm going to show you what's in here, and then we'll close it up. Let's see, share my screen. Okay, if you're having trouble signing up, you can email us at hello@gardenary.com. And then you can also, I'll have Liz put the link in there one more time. So I'm going to share this. I'll be done at 1:05, and then we'll close up. So if you haven't joined yet, you still have a second to get Kitchen Garden Styles as your bonus. All right. So let me tell you what's in this garden. Are y'all ready? You can tell me what your guesses are. If y'all tell me in the chat what plants you see here. All right. So in the front here, you can't see it's still growing, but I have hidden on the corners. I've got rosemary. I've got pansies, I've got strawberries, I've got Swiss chard, I've got more strawberries, and on the other side, I have another rosemary. Then I have this row of Swiss chard that needs to be harvested. Then I have a row of cilantro. Then underneath this, you can't necessarily see it from this angle, but there are about 70 lettuce plants. Then I tucked in peppers in all of the corners just recently after we passed last frost. So there's about 8 peppers in here. Then I just tucked in about 4 tomato plants that are going to grow up this arch trellis. In the center here, I don't know if you can see, but these are all sugar snap peas. So there are about 45 sugar snap peas growing up this trellis right through the center. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Ariel and Shania. We're so excited to get to know you inside the academy. On the back, we've got dill, we've got kale, We've got more strawberries. In the back, we have lavender, we have pansies, and I think that's about it. Oh yeah, and then we have onions and garlic. So like I said, over 200 plants. And the really cool thing you're going to get access to inside Kitchen Garden Academy is my method, my trademark method of how to come up with this planting plan. So there's a whole course on planting plans, and then you get to watch me plant this whole garden out, as well as a really big garden. I planted 2 4x8 gardens just last week, and we videoed the whole thing to put that inside of Kitchen Garden Academy for you guys. So if you haven't signed up yet, you still have a few more minutes. When you sign up, you get Kitchen Garden Revival for free when you pay in full, or you can get started for our payment plan for $119. Now, the winner of our giveaway, our 4x4 bed, is, I hope I'm saying her name right, it's Marissa Huerta. Marissa Huerta. Hopefully I am saying that right. And she won the 4x4 bed. So we will be contacting you, and you can also email us at hello@gardenary. There it is, Marissa Huerta. You can email us at hello@gardenary.com as well. So excited. Welcome to the Kitchen Garden Academy, Darla. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Academy, Anna Marie. We are so excited to get to know you. If you have a question after today's class, you can email us at hello@gardenary.com. If you have any other questions about the course, how it works, or any of the other aspects of Gardenary that you have access to, feel free to send us an email and we'll be glad to get back to you. I had the most fun with you today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, from my kitchen garden to yours. Remember the 3 mistakes to avoid. Don't rush the setup. Don't plant too little, and don't underestimate nature. Nature has got this, okay? And all we're going to do in our kitchen gardens this year is work alongside nature. We're going to set up our kitchen gardens with intention. We are going to plant a ton of plants, probably 1 million, and then we're going to work with nature to let nature do her magical thing in our gardens, and let me make all the mistakes, all right? So I'll make all the mistakes. You guys can just have the magic. Thank you guys so much for joining me. For all of you guys who joined Kitchen Garden Academy today, I will be welcoming you in a live call next week. So I will see you there very soon. I think it's next Wednesday. Invite your friends to join with you. You can go through the course together. It'll be such a fun experience for you and your community. So gather your friends and family. Let's get started. And we will be going on with Kitchen Garden Academy 2.0 starting next week. If you have not joined yet, you can still grab that link right there. And welcome, you guys. Thanks so much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and take care. I'll see you soon, and welcome, you guys.